People often ask me this question, what motivates you? And the honest answer to me is you. See, it's great to be young. You are very positive. You take things in your stride. You take the bad with the good. And there's an amazing energy and enthusiasm in whatever you do. So whenever I feel down or whenever I feel lack of enthusiasm, I usually stay or be surrounded by young people like you. And it is my privilege to be talking to such an enthusiastic group of youth today. And the things which we are going to discuss is all about fitness and exercise. You must realize that these are the very important formative years where you lay a very strong foundation of your career, your studies, right? And also to be good citizens of the world. But remember, this is also an important time where you lay strong foundation about your fitness, about your physique, and about your body in general. So, kind of Anish to introduce me, I am a lifestyle coach, I'm a urologist, and I'm an exercise specialist as well. I had the same problems. You saw my before and after picture, what I was 25 years back, I'm much better now. I'm a better version of myself. I also had my ups and downs. I was overweight, I had a huge belly and a double chin, and I could not work with a lot of enthusiasm and energy. But one day I decided to change it. And that's the way, once I decided, I started on it, and I'm like fit like this for the last 10 to 15 years. So the American Heart Association tells us that at least 30 minutes of moderate activity, aerobic activity, is necessary 5 days a week to maintain a healthy heart. You all know the advantages of exercise, but let me tell you that exercise is also very important because it increases your learning abilities. It boosts the mental capabilities. And there is a very beautiful book called Spark, written by Dr. John J. Ratty, who is a psychiatrist. They conducted a study in a school in the US, high school boys and girls in the US. They basically divided the students into two groups. One group was made to exercise just before taking their class for half an hour. And the other group was asked to rest or sleep in before the start of the class. And surprisingly, the learning ability of the students who exercised increased by more than 17%. That's a great kind of an advantage you get as a student when you exercise. In addition to the amazing physique, feeling of well-being, the happy hormones that are secreted. You also should know that exercise is the best the stress buster activity, right? So, but I understand your problem. You don't have time. And whenever I ask anybody why you don't exercise, the commonest answer which I get is I don't have time. I have to rush to the classes, coaching classes, this, that, I'm training, I'm preparing for my competitive exams, etc., etc., etc. But let me tell you, if you have the will to do it, you can do it anywhere. I show you, I'm speaking because since it's an online event, I'm speaking from my own room, my own bedroom, on my laptop. I'll show you what is there in my, you can see this. So there's a small set of equipment there in my room. And whenever I don't find time and I come home late, I just put in a 30-45 minutes of session of weight training here in my home. So once you decide to do it, it's possible. Where there is a will, there's a way. And the way the impulse to become fitness comes from inside, right? The smartest thing to do is to inculcate fitness in your daily routine. So it's very simple. Like, for example, if you're reading or you're memorizing or you're reading a book, you're studying, it is better to walk or stand while studying. When I see my patients in OPD, I do an OPD for 6 to 7 hours. I see close to around somewhere between 60 to 100 patients a day. I never sit in my chair. I stand and I see, because that is the way I'm increasing my activities. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Whenever you're talking on phone to your friend, don't sit, walk around. So these are the small things which you can, inculcate in your daily activities. Whenever you're standing at a signal on your scooty or your bike, you can just raise your eyebrows and put them down and just exercise your calves. So these are very small kind of things, but small things add up to great gains later, right? So let us also discuss some of the myths which are there in our youth today regarding exercise, right? The most important thing which we always hear is people telling me that fat is bad. So I eat fat-free food. That's a great kind of a crazy diet thing going on. Fat is not bad. There are certain essential fatty acids which our body cannot make. And we have to depend on nutrition for these essential fatty acids. And our vitamins, which are fat soluble, like A, D, E, K, basically depends on our consumption of fat. So if we don't have fat, we'll have deficiency of these vitamins. And importantly, when you are at the verge of getting puberty and you're becoming adults, the sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen are also made from fat. So fat is not bad. Unsaturated fat is very good for your diet. Unsaturated fat comes from vegetable sources, from fish. Saturated fats one should limit. And the bad fats are the trans fat, which we get by basically consuming deeply fried food, that we should avoid. So fat is not bad, but you have to mind what you eat, right? The second myth, which we usually say, is whenever we talk about exercise, we always believe ourselves running. Cardio is the best exercise. Cardio is one of the exercise. It's not the best exercise. Morning walk is one of the exercise. It is better to do something than to do nothing. But then every exercise session needs to be a little bit more challenging than the previous one. So if you read the same chapter again and again and again and again, you will not improve. You know, you have to read different chapters. You have to read more of the details of the chapters. Exercise is like that, because the body has got an amazing capability of adapting itself to any sort of exercise. So if you're walking 30 minutes a day, that might be important after, let's say, 10 to 15 days, because your body is already accustomed to it. So you, at the end of maybe 10 days or 15 days, you have to start jogging, and so on and so forth, or you have to start climbing stairs. So the body has to be pushed to a certain limit every now and then to get the best benefits. And cardio is good for your heart. So as I told you, 30 minutes of cardio 5 days a week is good enough for your heart. But there are also other exercise forms. There is weight training. We strongly advocate weight training in people of all ages, because you form very strong joints, ligaments, muscles, and this is the investment you're going to make for your good adult life. The hormonal milieu, the hormonal environment in this age group is excellent. And now if you put a small amount of effort in addition to what you're doing in your curriculum, and put 15-20 minutes or even half an hour of exercise schedule, you will build very strong muscles. So weight training is also important. Sometimes in some people, yoga also works well. So no form of exercise is exclusive. All have to complement each other, and one has to have a good combination of all three, right? The other thing which I always find is girls come and ask me, my female clients, they say that women should not do weight because they will start looking like bodybuilders and start looking like men. No. Men have testosterone, so they will look muscular. Women will look very shapely and toned by doing weight training. So weight training is something which is recommended even for women at all age groups. And it is very important for them because of lack of testosterone. The osteoporosis and the bone structure of women is slightly weaker than men. So it has been seen in a lot of scientific studies that women and men, when they do weight training, the gains which they get percentage wise is almost like similar. In fact, in the upper part, the upper torso, women become better than men when they weight train. There are certain myths regarding nutrition as well. You must have heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? Because we've been fasting all night and then breakfast is very important. Not so. What matters is what you eat throughout the day. What matters is what kind of food you eat throughout the day. So if you're eating a good proportion of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, it doesn't matter if you eat it in breakfast, lunch, or if you divide it in 5 different kind of meals, or if you eat it in 2 meals, right? The most important aspect here is the protein content of the diet. Protein gives 4 kilocalories per gram. The amount of protein which a person should consume is minimum 1 gram per kg body weight. So if you're like 50 kgs weight, you should at least take 50 grams. And people who are physically challenged, who are exercising or who have to do a lot of hard work or whose day is filled with a lot of physical activities, then the ideal protein consumption should be 1.2 gram per kg body. Now, let me tell you that Indian diet is notoriously low in the protein content. So whenever we eat a breakfast, what we eat poha, upma, idli, sambar, appa, and everything. there's no protein in that. It's only carbohydrate. So if you're eating only a carbohydrate diet early in the morning, that is not a very good kind of a strategy for a person, because at that particular time, there is one repair hormone which is there in our body, which remains there till 11 a.m. to 12 noon. That is negated by taking carbohydrates during this diet. So it is better to push the breakfast slightly late. Or if you're taking it early, it is better to have a good protein-rich breakfast. Many people think that protein consumption damages kidneys. I'm a urologist, I'm a kidney surgeon, I'm telling you that protein does not damage kidney in a normal person. If the person is already having a renal disease, it's a different thing. If you're having renal stones, then it's a different thing. But in a normal person who is healthy, who has healthy kidneys, consumption of protein does not lead to any kidney damage. So take that myth out. So protein is a very important thing. And there are also essential amino acids which our body cannot make, which the food has to supplement. Now, there are essential amino acids, there are essential fatty acids, but there are no essential carbohydrates. So carbohydrate is not very important. It is important part, but it is not very important, right? So one must exercise, one must inculcate this activity in the daily life. And one more important thing, what people always think is, or what the youth particular thing is, I'll exercise a lot now and then I'll not exercise for 6 months. So I'll put back the weight again. Is it true? Of course it is. Because if, see, your body weight and your physique is actually a law of thermodynamics. So the calories which are being consumed and the calories which are being basically spent, if the calorie consumed are more than the calories spent, a person gains weight at any age, right? Be it me, a 15-year-old man, or be it you, a 15-year-old teenager. So it's important that we see that our calorie consumption is equivalent to our calorie spent and we remain at the same weight. Or if we want to reduce the weight, we have to basically create a calorie deficit. So if you stop exercising, then you are decreasing your calorie spent. And if you keep eating the same amount of food which you're eating, then of course you are going to gain weight. So a very important point is that we have to basically be a little smart, not like us, where we are very obsessed about counting calories and counting proteins and carbohydrates and fats we eat, but you can be a little smart in choosing the right stuff and avoiding the wrong stuff. So I would like to tell you that exercise in your age is a must, and morning walk or a small amount of walk every day is not a good idea, particularly at your age group, because of the adaptability of the body. Try to inculcate a kind of 30 minutes or 40 minutes of weight training regime in your daily day-to-day life. In case it's not possible for you to go to a gym or anything, you can make a small gym at home. There are various kind of good platforms available on the YouTube where you can learn how to exercise. So my friends, let me tell you something, a small short note about nutrition. Nutrition contains macronutrients like protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Proteins and carbohydrates give 4 kilocalories per gram, and fats give 9 kilocalories per gram. The consumption of all three are important. But when we are planning a good diet, what we decide is, according to the age of a person, about weight of the person, depending on the weight of the person, we decide how much protein a person should have. So we decide the total number of calories. So if your total number of calories required is 2000, you would first basically decide the amount of protein which you'll have. So let's say you have 60 grams of protein, your weight is 50 and 60 gram per kg body weight. So that goes. Then around 35 to 30% of the calories you consume should come from fat, and the rest should come from carb. Unfortunately, our diet contains exactly the opposite. So we consume a lot of carbohydrates, moderate fats, and very low proteins. So be smart when you're choosing this particular kind of nutrition, particularly in your age group. We strongly recommend resistance training, and I believe that resistance training is something which people don't get adapted to very fast. So, my friends, my take-home message to you would be stay physically active, focus and be smart about a balanced nutrition. Give a lot of importance to your protein intake. Calculate the amount of protein which you eat. There are good apps which are very easy to follow, and you can actually track what you eat on everyday basis. And most importantly, take the first step. If the person would not have taken, the man would not have taken the first step, we would not have landed on the moon, right? So thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you. And I hope I inspire some of you to inculcate activity and exercise in your daily life. Thank you so much. Bye.